The next person I'd like to introduce is Simon Wilcox. Now, Simon grew up in a very tough part of London. Despite that, he overcame personal barriers, including youth offending, to create positive opportunities working with young people. He's currently the Youth Project Director for Goals. So here he is. Hello, Simon.
Fantastic. Hi. How you doing? I'm going to be sharing with you a story about my personal pit of blame and excuses. Hetty mentioned earlier that I got in a little bit of trouble over my teenage years. Just a little bit, not too much. But it kind of escalated. So up to about 12, I was doing pretty well. But then when I got to 13, I started to recognise some of the things in my life that weren't working. You know, it started off with seeing my mum's drink and drug problem, and that kind of really got me down. And I started to kind of see that, and then I started to respond or behave in a very similar way. So I got involved in crime. I got involved with drugs. I got involved with doing other stuff. Bunked off of school. Has anyone ever bunked off school here? Raise your hand if you bunked off. Yeah. So I was doing all that stuff, and unfortunately I was heading downwards. And I got to the bottom, into the pit. But I wasn't happy with being in the pit. I actually got a spade, and I decided I was going to dig deeper and deeper. So by the age I got to 15, my outcome from all this response was to get kicked out of school, to get kicked out of home, because I just wasn't listening to my mum. I knew best. And it got even worse than that, getting criminal records. By the time I was 17, I had numerous criminal records, was heading to prison, and I had 2 children by that age as well. So it was just going from worse to worse to worse. I love my children, they're fantastic, but I didn't plan for them. Let's just say I didn't take 100% responsibility at the time. However, fortunately I had someone that really kind of appealed to me. I had a good advisor, I had some good youth workers, some really good family members saw where I was going. But it was a music producer that helped me to kind of come out of this behaviour. He was an excellent teacher and producer, and he gave me the opportunity to work in his studio. I was asked when I was at a youth offending team, what would make you stop committing crime? I said, if you teach me to drive and show me how to produce records, I won't re-offend again. And they went for it, believe it or not. They actually went for it. Fantastic. So I used that as a platform to start doing studying, and I always loved music. I found school really boring, but I loved music. And that was my vehicle to start kind of going up the ladder, moving towards where I really wanted to go, which was to be a good parent. And at the time, I actually became a single parent at 18. So 18, I had a child, no job, I was studying, and my mum was saying, get a real job. Have you ever heard that one before? Yeah? Get a real job. Music ain't going to pay. Fortunately, this tutor that I had, and he became like my role model, because my father wasn't around, so that person really became my father figure. And he really helped me. He looked after my son when I was studying on my course. He was teaching, and he looked after my child, a 1-year-old. So that's how deep it was, and that's how good he was. And that really helped me to develop and to take more responsibility. Then I started volunteering in the studio. So for 2 whole years, without no money, I know some people go, what, that's long, no money. But for 2 years I was there, you know, every day, turning up with my son in tow most of the time as well, and just working with him, watching what he'd done, and kind of copying his behaviour. Because what I realised, the way he responded was really, really good, and he was getting the success that I wanted to get. You know, now fortunately, you know, that really helped me to take more responsibility. Unfortunately, he passed away within those 2 years. So he passed away, but his wife was so great, she helped me to set up my own recording studio. And that's kind of what I'd done to start working with young people. That was by the age of 21. So I got kicked out of school at 15, no qualification, criminal record, no grades. Mum didn't really like me that much. I didn't really like me that much. And I was blaming everyone. I blamed the police, blamed my teachers for being crap, blamed my mum because it was all her fault. I blamed my girlfriend because she got pregnant. It was nothing to do with me, completely innocent. You know, I was blaming anyone that I could put my finger to. I was getting deeper and deeper. And what I started to realise is, and something that still happens, I guess, sometimes I still do go down to the valley, down to this pit. Sometimes I fall in there. But then I remember, something like Philip said a little while ago, but we can always change our responses. You know, if you're not happy with where we are now, all you need to do is change one small thing at a time, and we can go up this ladder. So thank you. That's my little story about the valley. Thank you very much.